Before we dive into this epic journey, don't forget to subscribe and tap that like button. Otherwise, Old King Thor might just mistake your remote for Mjolnir. Have you ever wondered just how many versions of Thor burst through the Marvel multiverse with lightning in their veins? And Thor isn't just the hammer wielding Avenger most people know. Over the years, the Marvel universe has given us a whole family reunion's worth of Thors. Some mighty, some. Let's start at the bottom and work our way to the top, but brace yourself. The surprises in store might have you questioning everything you thought you knew about the God of Thunder. First up, we find unworthy Thor. Imagine Thor, you know, same muscles, same hair, same brooding looks, but without the moho to pick up Mjolnir. Um, After a fateful whisper shook his confidence, thanks, Nick Fury, he lost his hammer and arguably a bit of his swagger. Um, Still armed with an axe called Yarnbjorn, he proved he's more than his hammer. Um, and things only get weirder from here. Um, Remember Throg? Yes, a literal frog. Whoa! Not only did he hop around beating up rats, but somehow he was still worthy. It's hard to take a frog with the power of thunder seriously, unless you're a Marvel fan, in which case it's just another Tuesday, leaping several timelines ahead. Thor 2099 gives us Reverend Cecil McAdam, turned into a near villain with borrowed thunder. It ended badly for him, but at least he put the future in future shock. And then there's Dargo Couture, who wielded Mjolnir when the world had fallen apart. He didn't hang on to the hammer long, but sometimes heroism means knowing when to let go. Ultimate Thor, or Thorleif Coleman, found himself stuck between a god complex and group therapy. Brave, bold, and not quite as refined as our classic Thor. Comic book Magneto once proved this by casually swiping his hammer. Cyborg fans, here's Ragnarok Thor, nicknamed Clor. Created by Tony Stark and Reed Richards. He's got the power, but none of the restraint, causing more problems than he solved. But it wouldn't be Marvel without a little drama. Next on the list, Eric Masterson, aka Thunderstrike. He filled in for Thor and then carved out his own legend when gifted a mace and a new identity. Standing beside the original, he'll always rank just a bit lower on the Thunder scale. War Thor, aka Volstagg, got his remarkable power from sorrow and rage, hardly your typical superhero origin. After personal tragedy, he grasped a different universe's Mjolnir and turned into an unstoppable force. His grief only just keeping him out of the top 10. Now we hit the all-star team with Storm Thor. If you've never heard of an Asgardian storm, think lightning squared. In one universe, Storm picks up the hammer and reigns as queen. And does that work? You might see what kind of... And who could forget Beta Ray Bill. And then even looking part horse, part action hero, Bill earned Mjolnir fair and square, and even besting Thor in combat. And Odin was so impressed that he made Bill his very own hammer, Stormbreaker. Jane Foster's time as Mighty Thor brought a home in depth. Battling cancer, she still fought like a champion, knowing every heroic transformation risked her life. Her spirit puts her near the top for most fans, and rightly so. And, you know, most fans have phasing mountains to share. Classic Thor, the legend himself, sits higher than most, but honestly, there are versions even mightier. He survived countless threats, heartbreaks, and disasters, always fighting through adversity, though occasionally he misplaced his hammer and once or twice his worthiness. Jumping to the silver screen, MCU Thor might look like the classic version, but he's faced arguably the toughest cinematic battles. From losing family to enduring cosmic pain and forging Stormbreaker inside a neutron star. He survived what would flatten anyone else. Remember when he almost took Thanos out? If only that aim were a bit higher, we'd have a much shorter movie. And then you have what happens when you mash two geniuses together. Iron Hammer, a wild blend of Thor's brawn and Tony Stark's brains, with tech and Thunder united. Stark Odinson would have made Marvel's villains run for the hills if he'd stuck around longer. In the Amalgam universe, Thor-El fuses Thor and Superman into one unstoppable powerhouse. Imagine thunderbolts fueled by Kryptonian muscle. Sadly, he only appeared briefly. But the idea alone is enough to spark wild debates in comic shops, heading into pure cosmic territory. Cosmic King Thor, sometimes known as Herald of Thunder, and Galactus gave him cosmic power to help face universe-ending threats. Not only did he defeat his benefactor, but his abilities are so vast, it's almost unfair to everyone else. And then comes Rune King Thor. Think of him as Thor with the cheat codes enabled. He's so powerful, he rewrote the rules of life, death, and destiny, defeating the gods above gods without breaking a sweat. But even that's not enough to beat Old King Thor. This grizzled survivor outlasted the apocalypse itself, lost his homeland, his family, one of his arms, which he replaced with the destroyer's weapon. And then combined the Phoenix Force and Gore's Necrosword for the ultimate power-up. And basically, he's the Marvel equivalent of a final boss who just keeps respawning. Only the end of time could stop him. So next time your friends argue about who's the strongest Thor, just ask whether their pick has ever wielded cosmic fire necroswords and lived to tell about it. And if you're keeping score, even Throg might want a shot at the crown. At least he'd bring snacks. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,